Every path we walk holds secrets. Some are in plain sight, some are waiting to be discovered. What if, on an ordinary day, you stumbled upon something extraordinary? An unknown place, shrouded in mystery and power. Not long ago, I found such a place. Deep in the woods behind my house, an ancient well called to me. And when I touched it, everything changed. It was some kind of portal, some kind of looking glass into Aldarian. A world of light and shadow, of choices and consequences. A world that feels closer to our own than you might think. Through that well, I see it all happening now, today, as we speak. These are their stories, their destinies, and I am here to share them with you. So come with me, my friends. Join me in this journey beyond the well. The Firewalker, Episode 3, The Heart of the Flame. The next morning dawned gray and bleak. Liyah had been playing through her mind all night the way she might be able to cross the lava onto the island. The lava lake loomed before them, its molten surface bubbling and hissing in restless waves. At the center of the lake stood the island. Its blackened rock glistened under the heat. The lifestone's faint glow pierced through the shimmering haze, a beacon of hope. The fire drake was there, watching them intently. The heat coming off the lake was sweltering. Liyah glanced at Jarek, who was scanning the mountainside, his eyes narrowed as he assessed the situation. Well, we must cross. There has to be a way. The Bryn'Dar must be getting food over there somehow, and certainly the stone got over there. Let's split up and search around the island. There has to be some way, Liyah said to Jarek. He nodded, and for the next 2 hours, the two circled the lake multiple times. I just don't see it. There's no dock, no raft. I don't know how they get over there. Jarek smirked. No, there is no dock or raft. But I think we can build a bridge. Well, not a real one. We bring down enough of those rocks from the mountainside, and it will create stepping stones. It's dangerous, but it's our best chance. He pointed to the slope littered with boulders. If I can loosen those, they'll cascade down into the lake, and with any luck, they'll make a path. Liyah nodded as Jarek handed her his coat and pack. She watched as Jarek scaled the loose and steep mountainside. The heat was intense, and she could see his massive frame begin to sweat as he muscled up the first boulder. It came crashing down the mountainside and splashed into the lava. The drake hissed and began running back and forth on the bank. Jarek loosened a second, and it came tumbling down the hill and landed just beyond the first. The next couple didn't work as well, but the highest boulder was huge, and despite his lean and muscled body, the boulder would not budge. Liyah spotted a large tree branch, and an idea came to her. She dropped their packs and picked up the branch and began working her way up the steep mountainside. Together with the aid of the leverage and the two pushing and prying, the last gargantuan rock gave a little, and then under the loss of the blackened shale, the thing began to just roll. It picked up speed, and then with a ton of momentum it crashed into the lake and rolled just beyond the farthest boulder. The heat was so intense, and the two of them, breathing heavy, smiled as they watched the stepping stones below. As they reached the edge of the lava lake and the makeshift stepping stones, Jarek cursed under his breath. Liyah followed his gaze and then froze. Descending the mountain pass were a group of Bryn'Dar warriors, led by the very bandit they had spared during the ambush. I knew we should have killed him, Jarek muttered, drawing his blade. Come on, yelled Liyah as she jumped onto the first stone. We'll be trapped, Jarek said, following her to the edge of the lava, the heat causing his eyes to water. The warriors were advancing quickly, their weapons glinting in the fiery light. Liyah felt a warmth from Selûne. Trust me, come on. Jarek was confused. His warrior instincts told him to stand his ground and fight to the death. But something in Liyah's eyes caught him. And then, without thinking further, he jumped to the first stone just as the warriors neared the lava. Then they jumped to the second stone, and then the third. The warriors began to laugh and point. The Drake was now only a few yards from them and was racing back and forth, his eyes greedily focused on the approaching two. Liyah's heart pounded as she gripped Soluna, seeking guidance. The last stepping stone was too far from the edge of the island to jump. They were trapped. What do we do? Jarek looked around frantically. Then he heard a faint whisper, and he looked back around and down at little Liyah, with her head bowed and her hand in her pocket. She was whispering, but not to Jarek. He knelt beside her and reached out his hand. It's okay. We will die together. It will be a good death. An honorable death. Soluna pulsed, her warmth spreading through Liyah's chest. A soft voice, almost a song, echoed in her mind. Walk the path. Trust the spirits. Liyah lifted her head. She had a firm determination in her eyes. Out of her pocket, she pulled the small white stone that was pulsing a soft glow, and she began to sing. Softly at first, then louder. The men on the banks began to laugh and hoot and holler. They were clearly enjoying themselves and excited to watch this play out. Then, to everyone's surprise, Liyah walked to the edge of the boulder and took a step onto the molten surface. The heat was unbearable, but the lava did not consume her. Soluna's glow spread around her feet, forming a protective barrier. Another step, and then another. The fire drake, drawn to her song, lifted its head. Its eyes gleamed with curiosity and excitement as he began to sway in rhythm with her chant as she looked directly into the eyes of the fire drake. As Liyah took the last step onto the island, she reached out her hand, and the drake lowered his head as she touched him. She stroked his shiny dark scales. Then, it threw its massive head back and let out an ear-piercing roar. The drake, in one massive leap, soared over Jarek and landed on the stone just beyond him, then in one more bound landed on the shore, right in the midst of the Bryn'Dar warriors. Without hesitation, it launched itself into the men, its fiery breath and razor-sharp claws cutting through their ranks. The warriors scattered in terror as the drake decimated them. With one final roar, it disappeared in the hills, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Liyah turned and began walking up the slope of the little island. Her legs trembled, but her resolve was unshaken. The life stone rested on a pedestal of black rock, its glow stronger than ever. She reached out and felt Soluna's pulse with joy as their energies intertwined. When she got back off the lake, Jarek joined her. His armor was scorched, but his expression was nothing but impressed. There's more here than meets the eye. There's more to you than I had seen. You are impressive, little one, he said. She smiled faintly, holding the life stone close. It's time to go home. The journey back to Naulu village was arduous but filled with a renewed sense of hope. When they arrived, the villagers gathered round, and their faces lighted up as they saw the life stone. Elder Amaka wept with joy, declaring that balance would now be restored. Liyah turned to Jarek, holding out her hand. You're free from your life debt. I could not have done this without your help, and I will forever be grateful for your friendship. Thank you for everything. Jarek hesitated, then clasped her hand firmly. The debt is repaid, but... And he paused, looking around at the little village. If you'll have me, I would like to stay. His voice choked ever so slightly at the last word, and then he said no more. Liyah's smile widened. My friend, you are always welcome here. Always. As the village celebrated, Liyah looked to the sky, feeling Soluna's warmth in her chest. Her journey was just beginning, but for the first time, she felt ready for whatever lay ahead. Thank you for joining me today as we look beyond the well. What lies ahead is not just a tale, it's a journey, one that we will take together. If you're ready to step further into Aldarian, subscribe and follow Beyond the Well wherever you listen to podcasts. For even more information, visit beyondthewell.net for transcripts, notes, character descriptions, maps, and much more. And remember, sometimes the path we walk reveals more than we ever imagined. So, keep seeking, keep dreaming, and keep telling your story. Bye.